Here's an email that I sent to John Miller on the 26th. I sent it at 5:31. I tried sending it on Monday the 25th, but apparently it was late at night, and I didn't send it. So I woke up at 5:43 and sent it, and I sent it to John Miller and also Fred Miller, which is my court-appointed advisor. I'm my own attorney, but he's giving me legal advice, and this was court-mandated. It says, hello, John. Today marks day 160 of a false arrest by criminal Elmont police when they knew I was in a crisis. So did Lapeer County prosecutor Mike Sharkey. That's 2 years, 7 months, and 17 days that I've been held against my will, and they have walked free to do the same thing to other Elmont and Lapeer County taxpayers. I'm sorry that I'm being forced at the last minute to miss the beginning of my long-awaited trial tomorrow. Fred Miller told me that I must inform the court that I had an emergency that occurred at the last minute, which I did, and that did nothing. Even Fred Miller says what they're doing is illegal. INTERLOCK's interlock device failed for the third time in 9 months, and I haven't been able to drive my vehicle for over 15 days, even though their company bills me for services not rendered. I can't attend court, I can't work, I can't even shop for food or get medical treatment. INTERLOCK has gotten away with predatory, illegal taxpayer abuse by a Michigan Secretary of State mandated vendor because no one in Michigan government polices their company. I don't have Judge Holoka's email address, only yours. Will you please inform him of my emergency? When I first met you in January 2021, John, you told me to keep you informed about what's going on in my life until I finally get my trial. I'm sure you're busy, but I hope you've been reading the emails that I've included you in, including my state-mandated interlock device that keeps sabotaging my vehicle. This Michigan Secretary of State's mandated vendor is purposely sabotaging Michigan taxpayers by installing defective car bombs that fail at will. Last July, it malfunctioned and took a picture of my vehicle interior with no one in it because I left it 15 minutes earlier. INTERLOCK sent pictures proving I wasn't even in my vehicle when their equipment failed to the Secretary of State, who didn't even look at my evidence, and revoked my license for over 3 months. INTERLOCK refused to replace their faulty equipment, which subsequently failed the very day I got my license back on 11/10/21 in the parking lot of the Lapeer County Secretary of State's parking lot. It kept failing until 11/23 when it drained my brand new battery so much that it triggered another false lockout. Their technical supervisor, Derek, promised that if I only pay another $145 toll bill, I paid one in September 2021 also, that he would personally ship all brand new equipment to so that their equipment would not fail again. But when I got to their repair center, their technician said INTERLOCK lied and never sent the new equipment. All they did was charge up my existing battery and sent me home. Then they cheated me out of another $145 toll bill that they promised to pay. They cheated me out of $150 in false lockout fees that they also illegally charged to my bank account, and they also charged 3 payments in January 22 instead of 2. They're supposed to take 2 payments out a month, not 3. They did the same thing to me in June of 2021 also. They just take money out of my bank account at will. That's bank fraud. That's $350 in illegal charges. They refused to reimburse me, and they have refused to replace their defective equipment since July 2021. And the Michigan Secretary of State allows them to get away with this taxpayer theft. I was finally forced to move out of my uninhabitable home on April 9th and 10th, 2022. My home was made that way by Lapeer DHHS Supervisor Rhonda Lansing, who's going out of business. Plumber buddy improperly installed a water heater that promptly leaked 3 times and caused $15,000 worth of damage to my home. I'm sure you recall that she's also guilty of Social Security fraud that cost me over $12,000 so far. That's $27,000 Lapeer County owes me because former prosecutor Mike Sharkey protected bad county employees instead of the Lapeer County taxpayers that pay all your wages. That's the reason that they had to stalk me for all the damage that I tried to hold them hold Lapeer County government responsible for. I'm now living 3 hours away from Lapeer County. During the move, INTERLOCK device worked perfectly for almost 500 miles. The next day I tried to start my vehicle and it was dead again. It's an intermittent equipment failure that INTERLOCK should have replaced last July, and it has nothing to do with my brand new battery that I was forced to replace in December of 2021. As of last Friday, INTERLOCK told me the only way I could get my vehicle back on the road would be to pay another $145 for a tow, and they would ship brand new equipment to a service center that only accepts cash. I was told that I had to pay for the tow as well as $500 for new equipment or they would not get me back on the road. And I made a video of that, and that's on my YouTube channel, Almont Senior. I'm still battling INTERLOCK state-mandated customer abuse and plan to sue them in small claims court once I finally get their carb bomb deinstalled. John, I understand you had nothing to do with the incidents that led to my false arrest when I was in a crisis. Sharkey left you with a mess. I want to help you restore law and order to Lapeer County as you promised in your election campaign. That's why I voted for you. You and I both agree that Mike Sharkey is corrupt and did not work for Lapeer taxpayers. I intend on calling former prosecutor Mike Sharkey to explain to my fellow Lapeer County taxpaying jurors how he helped cover up Lapeer County employee gross negligence by conspiring with Almont police to stalk me to orchestrate my false arrest while I was in a crisis from lack of drinking water for over 5 days. Right now I have to have my vehicle fixed. John Miller knew all about this. He had absolutely no reason to put a warrant out for my arrest. Once I do, I will contact you so we can finish this trial, close the books on this monumental travesty of justice, and go on with our lives. Respectfully, and my name. And here on April 22nd, I sent this email to him. No, I sent this to Fred Miller. And then I sent on the 25th, let's see what this is. I sent this email to Fred Miller, but I also included Senator Daley, Gary Howell, Governor's Office, Gretchen Whitmer, Attorney General, Secretary of State, and I also sent it to John Miller. It says, hello, Mr. Miller. You still didn't explain how to get my emergency pleading to the court. I have no transportation. I only have the internet. I can't mail anything. I'm due in court tomorrow. I am now officially a tax-paying prisoner of the Michigan Secretary of State under house arrest until INTERLOCK ever gets around to replacing their car bomb. I successfully concluded the Secretary of State's 12-month interlock program on 2/22/22, but INTERLOCK has been sabotaging my getting my license back ever since. Meanwhile, they are stealing money out of my bank account for services not rendered. The Michigan Secretary of State needs to police their state-mandated vendors better than they are policing INTERLOCK, who is financially and physically abusing Michigan taxpayers. Here's proof how INTERLOCK is sabotaging me. I have much more video evidence on my YouTube channel, Almont Senior, and I put another video showing how INTERLOCK screws taxpayers. I'm still waiting for a call from INTERLOCK, who again promised to call me this morning. Try living without a vehicle for 15 days, Mr. Miller. The best I can do is draft a plea and email it to you and Prosecutor John Miller, because I do not have an email address to send it to the court or judge. I'm in a life or death crisis, and I cannot follow proper protocol. But neither has the Lapeer court system. It's the exact same situation as September 8th, 2019, the day that corrupt Almont police stalked me. Will this give them another legal reason, so-called legal reason, to stalk me again? Will they make up another lie that I beat them up again? That way, for sure, I will get life in prison for attempting to get drinking water so I don't die, which is a felony in corrupt Lapeer County. Lapeer County government does not represent the people and is an abortion of our constitutional Bill of Rights. They can't beat me. The only way is to cheat. They can't drag out this farce any longer. I want to explain my case to 12 Lapeer taxpayers, not the corrupt Lapeer court any longer. I will send you my pleading and pray that the court will obey the common law. This travesty of justice, this case is a travesty of justice, of the justice system. A crisis is not a crime. And then he said, I do not represent you. You need to do a pleading that states that why you cannot be in court on Tuesday. You can call an emergency motion to adjourn the trial, but you are going to have to file that with the court. You need to explain why you cannot be there in writing so the judge can see it and understand why. I couldn't drive my car. That's why I couldn't get it to get paperwork or to be in court. And John Miller or Fred Miller understands that. He understood that. But he also told me, he warned me, he said they're going to throw you in jail. Here on April 20th, I sent this email to INTERLOCK. I also sent it to Fred Miller. That was on the 20th, April 20th. I sent it to the State of Michigan, Secretary of State, the Attorney General, Senator Kevin Daley, the whole crew, all the way up to Governor Gretchen Whitmer and Attorney General Dana Nessel. I sent it to Alex Killam, Nate McNamara, or Brandon Hallery, and they're all supposed to be with the INTERLOCK Customer Advocacy Department. I sent a copy to John Miller, Fred Miller, State of Michigan, Dana Nessel, Kevin Daly, State Legislator Gary Howell, and Governor Gretchen Whitmer. I'm still waiting for a call from 2 years ago from Governor Gretchen Whitmer's office after calling them 11 times and having them promising me, oh, you're the next one on the list. We're going to call you real soon. Just keep waiting. Here's what I wrote to INTERLOCK. Your company is guilty of engaging in predatory marketing practices on Michigan taxpayers who have been ordered to have interlock devices installed in their vehicles to make sure they don't drink alcohol and drive. That's what it's supposed to do. They make another profit center out of it. Your equipment failed again, and I haven't been able to drive my vehicle to survive in 10 days. My 12-month mandate from the Michigan Secretary of State ended on 2/20. It says 2/27. It should be 2/22, which entitles me to petition for a hearing to have your device removed and allow me a full driver's license. But your company has intentionally sabotaged my efforts ever since I was forced to sign your original agreement contract on 2/22/21 under duress. That's because it was 37% more than the sales manager Trent Lott promised me. When I finally looked at the contract after they installed the equipment, it was 37% more, and they had all these phony charges that I never agreed to, and I argued with them, and I made videos of all that too. INTERLOCK abuses their customers because they think they can get away with it. Alex Killam took almost a month to send me your interlock closing documents that I need to send to the Michigan Secretary of State. I still don't have them. I still don't have them. And he didn't send all of the Michigan log records I need. I still don't have them. Yesterday, your technician, Maria, promised to send me the Michigan log records I need to send to the state. Your sales manager, Trent Lux, originally made a simple agreement of 2 payments per month of $52.99 each for 12 months. We agreed on a $30 processing fee, $100 installation and deinstallation fees, which he waived the initial install fee. That's what I agreed to with INTERLOCK. But that's not what I got. I never saw your written contract until after your equipment was installed on my vehicle. Jeremy's Automotive handed me your lease after they installed it. When I looked on it, I refused to sign it because it was 37% more than what Trent Lux agreed to. Later, your company forced me to sign it by threatening to lock me out unless I signed it. So I signed it under duress, which made your contract invalid. Your company refused to correct your contract, which I never agreed to. Yet you still kept charging me erroneous charges and never did correct the contract. Your device was giving me an erroneous lockout charges, so I was forced to purchase a brand new heavy-duty battery with a 3-year warranty from O'Reilly's Auto Parts. In June, you charged me 3 payments instead of 2. On July 31st, 2021, your equipment failed and took a picture of my vehicle interior 15 minutes after I shut off my vehicle off, engaged power saved, and left the vehicle. Your company sent the pictures and log of your equipment failing all that day to the Michigan Secretary of State, who didn't even look at your evidence of my innocence and revoked my license for no probable cause on 8/10/21. It took me almost 4 months to to finally get a hearing. Michigan Judge Logman took one look at my evidence and dismissed the case. I got my Michigan restricted driver's license back on 11/10, and your device failed again right in the parking lot of the Lapeer Secretary of State. Your technician told me to remove the negative battery cable for 30 seconds and reattach it, which allowed me to start my vehicle. I drove it for a few days with no problems, and then your device began failing and draining my batteries excessively. I started using a battery charger, but your device kept draining my brand new battery. Finally, just before Thanksgiving, your device made it impossible to start my vehicle, even using my brand new battery charger on my brand new battery. I spoke with numerous INTERLOCK technicians for days trying to get your device to work. Finally, your technician, Derek, promised that if I only pay to have my vehicle towed to Jeremy's Automotive on 11/30/21, he guaranteed that he would have a brand new unit waiting for me when I got there. Instead, when the tow truck dropped me off, Jeremy's technician had no clue of replacing your defective device. They said Derek lied, and there was no order for a new unit. All Jeremy's INTERLOCK installer Mark did was to charge up my existing battery. He He told me that your company lied about their company doing a thorough inspection of their equipment. He said their company takes no responsibility for your equipment. He also told me that your company would try to blame my brand new battery for your equipment failure. He said he would help me out, and he gave me a piece of paper to take to O'Reilly's Auto Parts so they would swap out my battery for a brand new one. So I got another brand new battery. Mark said that if my battery was bad, it would die on the way home and would not start the next day. I drove my vehicle home. The next day was a big snowstorm, and I couldn't get to the store until the next day. I put my charger on. The next day, my vehicle started proving my battery was still good. I went to O'Reilly's, and they replaced my battery again. Your company refused to reimburse me $145 for the tow that you told me you were going to reverse two false $75 lockout charges, but instead took them out of my bank account illegally and never reimbursed me. And in January, you illegally took 3 payments out of my bank account instead of 2. You did the same thing in June of 2021. You still owe me $350 that you refused to pay. Why? Now your equipment failed again on a 3-month-old heavy-duty battery. You can't blame my battery for your equipment failure. On 4/8, your equipment failed. I shut off my vehicle. I used power save, but a few minutes later, your equipment demanded that I blow again. If I had left the vehicle, it would have given me another error message, just like it did on 7/31/21. It also did the same thing about a month ago, and I reported it to your company. I had to move it out of my existing house on 4/9/22. I drove my vehicle almost 500 miles in 24 hours and had no problems with your device. My battery was fully charged, but on 4/11/2022, I tried to start my vehicle again, and your device failed again, giving me error messages. When I tried starting my battery, but your device immediately started draining my 3-month-old heavy-duty battery. I called in and talked to INTERLOCK, numerous of your INTERLOCK technicians who could only tell me to keep charging my battery. On Saturday, April 16th, your technician Thyra told me that your equipment has a syncing error and it needs to be replaced. She said she would put a new unit on order, and someone from INTERLOCK would be contacting me Monday on 4/18 with instructions to how to get the new unit installed. That was on 4/18, and I had court date on 4/26. John Miller knew all about this because I sent him this email. No one from INTERLOCK called Monday. I called and left a message for Alex Killam, who said he was busy, but he would call me back. He never did call back. I talked to Natasha, who said she was a supervisor. I explained my problems, and she said she was forwarding me to her supervisor, Heidi. I left a message for Heidi on her voicemail. She called back when I was on the phone. I tried calling back right away, but she wasn't available. I called Heidi again on Tuesday, 4/19, and she didn't call me back. I called for Alex Killam, Nate McNamara, and Brandon Hallery from the Customer Advocacy Department, but no one called me back. I called back and talked to Maria, who told me that a new unit was ordered to be shipped to Adams Automotive in Mount Pleasant, but she could not give me an installation date. I needed to hire another tow to get me there. I told Thyra, Natasha, Heidi, Nate, Brandon, and Maria that I had a very important court trial next week and that I need my vehicle by this Friday, April 22nd, 2022. I had planned to drive down and stay with a friend and prepare for the case. And I needed to get things done over the weekend to prepare for the case coming up on the 26th. The court has dragged my case on for this. The court trial has dragged on for over 2.5 years, and I can't miss it. I told him I can't miss it. John Miller knew this too. John Miller got this email. I need anyone from INTERLOCK in authority to tell me when I can get my vehicle worked on and if I will have it back in use by Friday or not. If not, you will be forcing me to postpone my important trial. Please contact me today with final details so I can arrange a tow. They never did. Where's the rest of mine? No, that's it. So that's what I sent. That's everything. This is everything that I've gone through for no crime. Another victimless. I'm guilty of nothing. This equipment failed and left me stranded just like it did in July of 2021. And the Secretary of State is letting INTERLOCK get away with it. And now I've got a warrant out for my arrest. Hey, thanks a lot, INTERLOCK. That's it for now.